Good Sunday morning. Good Sunday morning. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. P.I.L.L stands for prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. If you understand these four banking principles, then you can now borrow money at a discount. I mean, a severe discount. You don't have to pay the bank all of that money. You can now borrow it at about 75 to 80% off of the interest cost, not the interest rate, but the interest cost. And therefore, you can pay off all of your debt in about 7 to 9 years. Or if you're a real estate investor, you can cash out refi 10 to 15 years sooner, making more profit. And today, folks, the title of the show is $150,000 in your pocket. And if you've read the description, you know we got Flame Newton in the house this morning, Mr. Flame Newton, and he is America's #1 credit educator. And if you want to know more about a business credit and how to level up, Flame, can you just tell the folks why they need to listen to you about learning how to level up the business credit and how important it is to get it? You're muted.
Okay.
There you go.
Got it.
All right. What's going on, man? How are you this morning, by the way?
Man, couldn't be better. Could not be any better than where I'm at right now. Definitely appreciate you this morning.
All right, man. Listen, go ahead and introduce yourself and listen and pump the people up. Get them ready for what can you get them ready for what they're about to hear? Because you can put yourself in a position literally where you can walk into a bank with all of the stuff that you need to be able to come out with $150,000 in business credit. Is that really possible?
Yes, it is. And we're gonna get into that today. We're gonna make sure that you guys leave with a ton of information that you guys can utilize today. A lot of things that I like to talk about is actionable stuff, things that you can get done today. I like today. So if you guys, regardless of what platform that you guys are listening to me on, right? But if you could do me one favor, right? I just need a favor, right? The favor that I'm asking you from, even if you listen to this on a replay, right? If you listen to this 2-3 days after this already aired, that's cool with me too. But I need to see the word called today inside of the comments, today inside of the chat. Regardless of what you're doing, I need you to type. Because over here with me, you're going to do a whole lot of work. We're going to get to the work. We're going to work together. So I need to see the word today. So if you could comment the word today, I'll greatly appreciate it. Type the word today, TODAY, today. Type that type the word today inside of the chat, because the stuff that we like to talk about is stuff that you can get done today. You know what I mean? I don't know if you can hear me or not. Hello?
Yeah, listen, man, we can hear you, man. We can hear you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now we're getting stuff together, man. So I like to see the word today inside of the chat, man. We're gonna it's an awesome day. So you guys can make sure that you guys can walk away today and go get some money. And that's one of the most important things about this stuff.
All right, folks, you heard him. If you want, listen, if you want to know about how to walk into a bank and have them respect your paperwork, so that you can walk out with $150,000 in business credit, just type today in the comment section right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, maybe they can't hear me either. I don't know, Flame. I just don't know. Maybe they already know. Maybe they already know. But folks, listen, we're going to not only talk about how to get the business credit. That's not the whole show. See, there are a lot of people talking about how to get credit, but there's only one best credit educator in America today. That's Flame Newton. You got him right here. We're also going to combine, for the first time, not just getting the business credit, but paying it back at a significant discount. because one of the things that Flame talks about is the cost of borrowing that money. And when he can tell you how to get it, and the P.I.L.L method can tell you how to pay it back at a substantial decrease in cost. I mean, 75% of the interest that the bank wants, you now don't have to pay. Lord have mercy. That is quite the combination. So listen, you can put today in the chat right now.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. Putting the word today in the chat gets things rolling. But you guys got to understand, the first thing is that when you guys start talking about this 150,000, one of the clear indicators is is opening your mouth. You got to be able to ask for it. Right. That's one of the things that I've seen a lot of times where people are slacking. They don't ask for the money that they actually need. Right. So they understand that when they're going to a banker, or when they're going to a resourceful individual, they tend to get timid about the money that they actually need. So I get it and I understand. Right. For you, you're thinking, hey, man, I just want $50,000. Well, if you know your business can actually put you in more harm's way by asking for less money than you actually need. Say that again. Your business can put you in harm's way by asking for less money than what you actually need.
Wait a minute, Flame. You mean people have a habit of asking for less money than they need?
Yes, for some reason they feel intimidated by the people that are actually giving out money.
Well, can I ask for just what I need? Would you ever ask for just what you need?
Actually, you're supposed to ask for more than what you actually
Lord
need.
have mercy. You know I can't wait for that.
You know what I mean? You're supposed to ask for more than what you actually need. I had a guy that had a client, this was about 2 weeks ago. He went in to get $184,000 from the bank. The bank did not give him $184,000. They didn't.
No.
They gave him $210,000. They ended up giving him close to about $25,000 more than what he actually needed, because they understand that when you going through business, there's hiccups, there's things that actually happen. And so with this being said, they approved him for more money than what he actually needed because he gave it to him on the T. So they have what they call a cushion. And so anytime that you utilize a cushion is making sure that anything that may happen, or because if you get some money today, and hypothetically, Mr. Don, let's have a real conversation, right?
Okay, let's do that.
All right. So if you're going to go get some chicken today, right, and you saying you're a restaurant and you're going to go buy some chicken, so because you want to fry some chicken or whatever that you want to do, and hypothetically say that you like to do wings, right?
Hypothetically,
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's reverse this. In 2012, the box of chicken wings is not the price of chicken wings that they are in 2024.
That's so true. Everything is more expensive now.
Everything's more expensive. So the more of the story is that if they're giving you 10 years to pay back this loan, if they're giving you 5 years to pay back this loan, right? So you're still responsible for paying this back, but the things that you're using the money for has actually increased.
Ouch.
You feel what I'm saying? So you're still responsible for paying something back, even though that when you did your budget at the time, your budget wasn't the budget that it is today. And so you got to understand that particular part as well.
So Flame, what did I just hear? I also heard that if I borrow money today in today's dollars and I pay it back over 10 or 20 years, that money that I'm paying back is worth less and less every single year. I got to work harder. I got to work longer. I got to come up with more dollars to pay back a $10,000 loan today than a $10,000 loan 10 years from now. It's going to take, my money is not worth as much.
Exactly right. That's exactly how everything works.
Wow.
Is that when you're dealing with time, right? Anytime that you're dealing with time, you got to understand that things change. So what we're going to be able to do is you guys are going to be able to walk inside of a bank and you guys are going to be able to ask for it. But guess what, though, Mr. Don? There's a procedure that comes into this.
Okay.
Right? That means that in order for you to ask for the money, right, there's a part on the other side that says, hey, what are you going to do with the money that you're asking to borrow?
There you go.
Right. So what are you going to do with it? Right. I'm asking you, what are you going to do with it? Right. That's why it's an essential. Let me say this again. It's essential. It's essential that you have a business plan, right?
Yeah.
That you can. So I heard somebody say, "Man, you don't need a business plan." I get it. You don't. The banks do.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
People want to know what are you going to use our money for?
Mm-hmm.
You give somebody some money, you're going to say, "Hey, man, listen, what are you going to use our money for?"
So
right?
that's the first thing, Flame? Is that the first thing?
Yeah, you got to make sure that you have a business plan.
Okay.
In order for you to ask for this money, you got to say, "Hey, when I get these funds are going to be allocated in these places." I'm going to say that again. When I get these funds are going to be allocated. Let's not play the game. Let's just tell the truth. $150,000. Right? So I hear somebody right now saying, "Well, Flame, I don't need all of that when I'm going to go to the bank." You're in the big leagues now. This is big league talk. We do big league stuff. This is big league stuff. So when you go to the bank and you go get this 150, it's totally different than when you walking into the bank and you going to go get that 20. It's totally different. The people that you talk to, listen, have you ever went to the bank and they served you tea? I said tea.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Did you know they got a kettle pot in the back? Yes, I'll teach you some things, Anders. I'll teach you some things over here today. If you want to get that kettle pot in the back, you know what I mean? You got to make sure that your business is not in the black. You know what I mean? Because they'll whip that kettle pot out to you.
Okay.
In the back, and they'll open up that kettle pot and they'll show you, saying, "Hey, these are the things that you got to actually have." And so, what are the things that we actually have? That's what we're going to go over through today. We're going to make sure that you guys are prepared so you go get this $150,000 from banking.
All right, folks, listen, you're going to get a lot of information here today. All right. And Flame, if somebody were to call you tomorrow, okay, can they get the same information that you're giving out today? Can they get it for free tomorrow?
No, not a chance. Not well. PG-13. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's PG-13. Y'all know what I'm getting ready to say. Not a chance. And then y'all can figure you can fill the rest of the blank in. All right. Hello.
So, folks, now's the time. Come into the studio. We've got the link. We got the link at the top of the chat. We got the link and we're going to put it into the comment section as well. You can come into the studio and ask your questions live, or you can type them into the comment section right now. You don't want to miss this opportunity to ask your question. Flame, the show is yours, man. You just listen, I got one thing to do. Come on, talk to me. People want to know what do they need to have to walk into the bank and get that money?
All right, so let me first go over here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go over here. Let me see if I can pull up the screen. For one, that's what I like to do. I like using my screens.
Okay, you're going to present some stuff? Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to present some stuff. Make sure that they good. So, because I make sure these folks, I can't leave them out of here today without having some type of something with them. Get over here. Let me see if I can present this here.
Yeah, you should be able to click that present screen and then click share screen and then find your screen and then show it to us.
Oh, okay, got it.
And then we'll put it up for you.
Got it. We go here. Man, if you guys can do me a favor right now, man, if you guys are just listening in right now, man, I need you to put the number 9 inside of the chat. I like that number 9. That number 9 gives me energy, gives me life. So as I'm doing this, as I'm pulling up this information, I need you guys to put a number 9 inside of the chat. Can you guys do that for me? Appreciate it. I need a number 9 inside of the chat. Appreciate it. Let's see here.
All right, we got Valerie Robinson putting their number 9 in. All right, we got M. Bolin putting their number 9 in. All right. We got Joan Hill putting her number 9 in. All right. Listen, folks, we love it. We love it when you respond. We love it when you respond. All right.
I got it right here. I'm sharing my screen.
Okay. All right. There we go. I got access to money up here.
All right. That's what's going on.
So, Flame. Access to money. And Valerie Robinson says, Good morning, Valerie. You know we love to have you in the house this morning. Listen, invite your friends. Listen, folks, I need your help. I need your help right now. All right. I need you to get the link to our channel. I need you to send it out to at least 10 people. We need your help to get this information out. Not only are we going to be able to get into the business credit, how to get it, we're also going to learn the most efficient way to pay it back. Flame, let's go.
All right. So look, access to money. So this is one of the things is, right? Got a company called Access to Money. So now what is access to money for you guys to understand? I understand that when you guys go to the ATM, I'm talking about when you go to the ATM. Now watch this, Mr. Don. When you go to the ATM, what actually happens is somebody pays you what they think that you're worth. Whatever somebody else thinks that you're worth is inside of that ATM. I'm gonna say that again. Whatever somebody thinks that you're worth is inside of that ATM. So when you put your card in that ATM, right? Somebody thinks that you're worth that, and that comes out on the other side. So what we're going to do is we're going to reverse engineer this thing. We're going to create our own ATM, and that is access to money, which totally means that we're going to invest in ourselves. And ourselves is our business. Anything that you guys are creating right now, that is investing in yourself. So that's what access to money is that whatever comes out on the ATM is what it comes from you. It comes from the inside of you. So Mr. Don, anytime Mr. Don goes to the ATM, right, all of his things that he's doing, all his endeavors that he's doing is coming back on the other side of the ATM. So when he put his hand in and grabbed that cash, that was all created by him. That was a great thing. We'll let you guys know. Listen, how to successfully secure $150,000 from banks without facing denials, right?
Yeah. Flame, Flame, I've been denied, so I know what it feels like. Okay, so to get this is invaluable. All right, folks, listen. If you're not asking questions, then you're not alive right now. Come on now, put your questions in. Come into the studio with us, and you'll be able to talk with us today. All right, let's go.
So cool. So this is what I want to go. So my goal today is to leave you with enough information so you guys can make something happen pertaining to going to the bank and going to go get some money. That's always my goal. So I never want you guys to deviate from the actual ultimate plan about this whole thing about going into the bank to go get some money. Like that's my ultimate goal. So when you guys leave about it here today, you guys have enough information to actually go inside of a bank and come out with some actual money. Now, and if you guys stay until the end, I got a special treat for each and every one of you guys today. So that's one of the greatest things is that as you guys sitting here with me today, you guys are going to get a special treat at the very end. It's going to be something that you're going to be like, wow, like you see the eyes, watch the eyes. Wow, I can't believe that. Yeah, you're exactly right. That's exactly what we're getting ready to get into. Now, what makes the difference is that you guys now, when you start dealing with $150,000 or more, you start dealing with this thing called the big leagues. You're in the big leagues, baby. It ain't no secret to it. So now if you ever wanted to go professional, right? Now is the time that you're getting ready to go pro. They got a thing for it. They say getting ready to go pro. So now is the time that you're getting ready to go pro, right? Now, I know some of you guys are asking a question saying to yourself, well, who is this Flame Newton guy, right? I got a friend that may know him, but I actually don't know him. What made him America's #1 credit educator? We're going to get into that in just a second, right? I'm the only author in American history. Now, Mr. Don, this gets funny right here. I'm the only author in American history. So I used to say the first, but I got corrected. I'm the only author in American history to have a book about credit in 2 languages that is recognized by the Library of Congress.
What?
The only author in American history to have a book about credit in 2 languages that is recognized by the Library of Congress.
Lord have mercy, folks. You better listen up.
I'm the guy that goes down to DC. I go to DC a lot. I advocate for better credit laws. I stand in Congress. I stand at the CFPB. I'm fighting for rights that are locally, that's in your area. I've actually been at over 200 events. Been at the biggest conferences of them all. I've stood at the Marriott conference, to the Intel conference, stood at FICO. The person that takes the stage is keynotes. I actively teach at different technical colleges, and I'm always in the community. I'm a community guy. That's just what it is. I like to be involved. I like to be heavily involved in the community. That's just something I love to do. All right. Now I'm gonna tell you some things. Then, so what you guys heard is I've done a lot of things right. I have done a lot of things right, but I've also done a lot of things wrong. Now, let me show you something. Back here, you see this picture? You guys see this picture right here in this brown tan? It's just not a regular suit that I wanted to put on that day. It was not, that's not how that occurred. So I didn't get none of my information from something that I read, right? I didn't get any information from, but somebody told me. So the information that you guys get from me comes from 3 categories. That means I've did it, done it, or currently doing. Now, I want to make sure that this platform is clear, and I want to make sure that you guys get this. I do not have any degree from Harvard, Yale, or Brown, or even from Wales. I don't have a degree from there. So if you're looking for that guy to tell a story from having a financial degree from there, I don't have it. Nor do I have a storyline of I had bad credit. I was able to fix my credit and I became a credit guru. I don't have that storyline neither. So if you're looking for that guy for that storyline, I don't have it. I'm the guy that stole identities for a living. So just like how you guys get up and go to work, right? That's what I did. I went to work, stole identities. Stolen identities led me to that particular picture that you see right there. That's a federal prison picture. So I was locked up in federal prison. Now, with me being locked up in federal prison, this is going to share with you about the things that I'm actually able to do. Now, I'm all remorseful on every platform that I've ever been on from the things that I've did to put me inside a federal prison. But the information that I learned along the way is the information that you guys are going to learn. Now, although I stole identities, which made me an identity thief, I did so on the account of the government. I did so in which they said they never seen, heard, or even done before. That means I only stole credit from people that had bad credit. And bad credit under the government eyes was a 600 or below.
You be Flame, what sense does that make? Stealing people credit who had bad credit. What sense does that make?
We're going to get into it because I understood that there's 2 types of credit. There's one that's called bad credit, and there's another one called life credit. Let's go over that again. One is called bad credit, and another is called life credit. Bad credit is where somebody might pay something this month, might not pay it next month. They might pay 3 months in a row, Mr. Don, but then they're going to miss 2 months in a row. Life credit is for 6 months, you ain't paid nobody. You didn't care who they was. Right? You didn't care who they was for 6 months that you didn't pay anybody. So guess what? If you ever met a person that paid all their bills on time every month, and then for 6 months in a row, they didn't pay anybody, that means they went through this thing called life. They may have lost a loved one. They may have gotten sick themselves. They could have lost a job. This person has went through something that I call life. And so when I seen these things, these are the things that I was able to use, because now I say, hey, if I clean this off, this goes off of all of these. These are the things that you guys are going to learn across the way that you guys are going to get into today. Right? Now, I told you I did a lot of things right? Now to the picture to the left of me up here, that's the vice president of Experian. That's the vice president of Equifax. We all in one picture together. You would never find another picture on the internet with the vice president of Experian and Equifax in one picture. Nowhere in America will you see any picture with the vice president of Equifax and Experian in one picture. I got it.
Wow.
Sometimes I gotta talk a little. Sometimes I gotta talk, but I gotta pop my collar every now and then. I mean every now. Is it okay if I pop my collar every now and then?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. As you can see on the right side, man, that's the book. That's the Spanish book. That's the other book. The picture that's in the middle. That person that's in the middle single-handedly controls America. Nobody knows him. I do. Actually, his number's in my cell phone. He single-handedly controls America. And you say, well, Flame, who is that guy that single-handedly controls America? That's a guy named Ethan Durham. He works for FICO. He's the creator of the algorithm of the credit score.
What?
Yeah, he's the creator of the algorithm of the credit score. Let me say that again. He's the creator of the algorithm of the credit score. That's Ethan. All right. So he's a scientist. Understand what I said? He's a scientist. FICO's hire scientists. It goes into that. The person to the right of me, that is Julie Wooding, that is the highest lady in all of credit. So there's nobody in credit that is higher than her, female wise. She's the highest lady in all of credit. To the bottom, to the left of me, that's Jocelyn. This picture means so much to me because this is a person that knew me since a kid. Like, they knew me before I was born, right? So she seen me in my mama tummy type. And if you guys ever know something, that is the biggest accomplishment of it all. If you can ever serve somebody that actually knows you for real and change their life. They know you for real. Like, this ain't they're not no internet person. They know you for real. They know to the point that they can come to your mama house and knock on the door and turn the door and walk in. That's totally different. And to the right of me, you guys know who that is. Mr. Don Daniel knows who that is all too well. That's our guy, Mr. E.T.
E.T. Dr. Eric Thomas. Yes, sir.
Dr. Eric Thomas. That was the one time when I went to Mr. Don's conference and I was able to present him the book, and it was a moment that I would always cherish. All right. So listen. You guys are going to understand about how to hide businesses inside of your own existing businesses. You guys are going to plug into almost any businesses. I'm going to show you about 2 simple words that you can use in any form to garner results, and you're going to access and you're going to ask the bank's money without feeling like a panhandler. All right, those are the things that you're going to get into. See, I discovered this the hard way. Now, you guys actually able to see me in that brown suit, right? I discovered this the hard way. But you see, the thing about it is you guys get the cheat code and you guys get the easy way. You don't have to go through federal prison and all of this stuff to get this information today, right? I've done carved it out. So now I'm able to share with you. Now, the hard way is sitting in banks for long hours. I hated that, right? And getting multiple bank rejections, and I risked my freedom. That's something that you guys know. My book composed of that white binder that's right there. That's everything that's in the School of Credit that is sitting right there. All right. Now listen, you want this the easy way, but that does not require you to ever get rejected. All right. See, in the past 14 days, we have accessed over. Actually, that's a wrong. She got a typo over. So Mika, if you're listening, you got a typo. See, that's what I'll be saying. It's a typo. 7 figures that we've did in the past 14 days. Just so you guys can know, there is no disclaimers. I don't do any disclaimers. None. 0. LFX, if you could put this over in the fan base chat, man, I appreciate this, man. If you could put that in there, if you could take this link and put it in the Telegram to tell the guys to come over here this morning. Appreciate it. There is no disclaimers, FYI. Thank you for coming too. Appreciate it. Shout out fan base. There is no disclaimers. I don't do disclaimers. So that's something that you guys, I know this is new to America, but I don't give them. I said, what? I don't give disclaimers.
You mean, Flame, that if I follow your information to the letter, you don't have to say, well, yeah, it's what they say that results may vary. That's a disclaimer. Results may vary.
I don't do none of that because I know. Let me tell you something. Because let me share something with you guys. I have a right to say something out of my mouth, and I have a right to keep my mouth closed. I have that right. So if I say anything out of my mouth, guess what that also means? I'm held accountable for the words that come off my mouth. So if I don't want to say nothing, I just don't got to say nothing. I shouldn't say nothing and then come behind it and say, let me give you a disclaimer. I'm not an attorney. I'm giving you a disclaimer. I'm not this. No, what I tell you is golden. I don't think it, I know it. So if you walk into the bank, you're walking out with $150,000. And if you don't, somebody's getting sued.
Uh-oh.
See how this works?
Yes.
Somebody gets sued. Now you walk out with 7 figures. You feel what I'm saying? So this is the type of stuff that I'm into, right? So I want to make sure that you guys got this. I don't do no screams. Listen, you guys are going to get 3 secrets. Secret number 1, I can get more money from one bank by getting big loans, which is better than going to many banks for small loans. Now, secret number 1, I'm giving you secret number 1. I go to one bank to get one loan. Man, listen, let me tell you something. Whatever it is that you want, you can get. Did y'all know that? Whatever it is that you want, you can get. Secret number 2. Did you know that your credit score isn't the sole deciding factor in getting approvals?
Okay now.
Now, stop for a second right there. I'm going to say that one again. Your credit score isn't the sole deciding factor in getting approved. Secret number 3, the absence of documents and personal guarantees creates a limit on how much you can borrow. So listen, I got to get into it. Secret number 1, I can get more money from one bank by getting big loans, which is better than going to many banks for small loans, right? So this is the thing, access to money. So you go get a credit card or you go get a loan, a $5,000 loan. Right? You got to go to 20 to 25, get 20, 25 different loans to get this $150,000. Then once you go over there, now you start to talk about your interest rates are 24 to 29.99%. Man, you've been sitting in multiple banks and now you're sitting and you waiting. Can you say to yourself, I can't get a loan because I'm financing? All right. See, these are the things that we got to be able to avoid. The one is the credit card, right? So you're saying, Flame, I got a credit card. I got 0% interest for the first 18 months. So how much is the credit card? You say, oh, I got a $10,000 credit card. But your business needs $200,000. If it makes sense. See how it says that it's going. Listen, your business needs $200,000. See, I ask you questions. See, here's the thing that I want to make sure that you guys know. I say, hey, man, I looked at your media and I didn't see your social media presence. And you know what you tell me? Watch this. You said, I'm doing everything myself. I said, you're doing everything yourself. They have a thing called a social media manager. Somebody that can operate your social media. Somebody do me a favor right now. Go to Google right now and ask me and do me a favor. Type in how much does a social media manager make? What's the average salary of a social media manager? Anybody can do it. I need somebody to do it for me right now. I need anybody to do it. What's the average salary of a social media manager? You say, don't nobody know about how much money you make. I need somebody to go there right now to type that in for me. What's the average salary of a social media manager? I'm listening. I'm waiting for somebody to come back on here and give me the results. Because now we about to get into some money. Y'all want some money? I'm going to take you to some money. Did anybody do it? What's the average salary of a social media manager? Nobody actually did it yet? I like that. $58,000. Said $58,000. So let's say 60. So right now, before we even begin with this $150,000, 60 of the 150 is at a social media manager. Oh, shoot. No, don't back away now. 60 of the 150 goes to a social media manager. Now, we got to make sure that you succeed in business. So guess who we got to hire? A social media manager. Don't say 53, 77. These are the things that I want you guys to understand. So when we get in there, we got to understand where we at from the beginning. So you know how you're going to be able to justify it? Because the social media manager is going to be able to take your content, spread your content, and being able to take you to a different level. You're saying, hey, man, I only got 3,000 followers. I'm saying, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to take your 3,000 followers. We got to turn them to 30,000 followers, but we got to also turn them to 10% of buyers. Did y'all hear me? Wake up. I need you to wait. I need 10% of buyers. I need 5% of your followers to be buyers. That wasn't comfortable, huh? So you got 10,000 followers? So 10,000 followers has got to convert into 5% of buyers. 10% of buyers is 1,000, so 5% of buyers is 500. So 500 people of your 10,000 followers have got to buy something from you. Woo! Now you start to see what we're talking about now. This is different. We in a whole different stratosphere. Secret number 2, your credit score isn't the sole deciding factor in getting approvals. I got a question. What's a loan worth to you? What's a loan worth to you? I'm asking you a question. What's a loan worth to you? Mr. Don, I need you back because I'm about to go somewhere with this one. Now watch this one.
Okay, I'm here.
Now I need you to rock with me right now. You about to rock right quick. Now watch this one. If I told you that I could get you a home loan for $300,000, but you had to pay me $100,000, would you pay me?
No. 100,000?
I told you that I can get you a home loan for $300,000, but you had to pay me $100,000. Would you pay me?
Oh, okay. Now, see, you're making me think.
Because you didn't pay me, but you paid the bank.
Oh, there we go.
He said alley oop.
There we go.
You didn't pay me, but you paid the bank. In fact, you paid the bank $600,000 for a $300,000 loan.
You most certainly did. At least.
You see what I'm saying? I asked you for $100,000, you wouldn't give it to me, but instead you get a bank $600,000. I said, man, give me $100,000. I get you a $300,000 loan. You tell me no, but you turn around and get a bank $600,000. I shouldn't say that. It's not the time to say that.
This is
I apologize.
Do your thing. Do your thing.
I apologize. So my question to you guys is, what's a loan worth to you? What's a loan worth for you? Listen, before I even begin, there's 2 rules in credit. You guys got to know these 2 rules. So put them down. If you got a sheet of paper, I need you to write them down. There's 2 rules to credit. There's 2 rules. When you conquer these 2 rules, it's going to make you more money than you've ever seen. I didn't say had, I said seen. Flame, go back over there again. I said, when you conquer these 2 rules, they'll make you more money than you've ever seen. I didn't say have, I said seen. Rule number 1. You got to know how much that debt costs you. Got to know how much that money costs. All money comes at a cost. It comes at a cost. How much does that debt cost you? You must know how much does that debt cost you. So Don talks about it all the time. We was just sitting here just talking this now that you just got a $300,000 loan, but you just ended up paying $1 million for a $300,000 loan. How much did it cost you? You talking about it cost you 4.5%. That's what you told me. So if it costs you 4.5%, that only means that when you got a $300,000 loan, that means that loan should have cost you $13,500 if it was 4.5%. If it was 4.5%. How did that loan cost you $1 million? Oh, Mr. Don got something for you at the end of this. So I'm asking you, what's the loan? Oh, no. Renee, you gonna get in because you getting into it. Because it's not about the credit score, it's about the contents of the credit profile. See, when you go get big boy money, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we got to wake up. We're going to go get $150,000 or more, so we're going to go get big boy money. When we go get big boy money, the criteria changes. Flame, what do you mean? The first thing that I do when I go to any banking website is I go to the front screen. I go to the home screen. If you scroll all the way down at the bottom of every home screen in every bank in the country, they got a section on there and it's called careers. I can't make this up. If y'all want to follow along, you can follow along. They got a section at every bank on the front screen that says careers. Careers is the people that they're hiring for.
All right, Flame. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about 45 minutes into this. We're going to be here approximately 2 hours total. You need to come to the stage and ask your questions live with Flame, because after today, you got to pay him to ask him any questions. So come on in or put your questions in the contact. We're 45 minutes into a 2-hour show. Do not miss this opportunity.
So now when we look at it, you say to yourself, they got careers. So Flame, what does careers got to do with anything that you're talking about today? I can't make this up. They will have an underwriter that they're hiring for. But when they have an underwriter that they're hiring for, they will call it a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3 underwriter. Why do they have different criteria for different underwriters? Because the underwriter can only underwrite up to a certain amount. See, when you pay somebody $200,000 to underwrite a loan, they're not underwriting a $5,000 credit card. They're not underwriting a $5,000. If you paid somebody $200,000 a year to underwrite a loan, they're not underwriting $5,000 credit cards, ladies and gentlemen. So we got to find out the criteria, what they're looking for, because everything that we present has got to look in the eyes of a $200,000 underwriter. So that's why I say these things, is that what's one loan worth to you? See, it's 3 reasons why your credit score alone won't get you approved. One, we're dealing with high debt to income ratio. So I want you guys to put 3 words on your paper, because if you're writing right now, I want you to put 3 words on your paper. It's called able, capable, and stable. Can somebody type that in the chat? I want to see it come across the screen one time. Able, capable, and stable. I'm gonna say that again. I want it to be clear. So you're not gonna leave out of here saying I thought or I wish or nothing like that. You guys are gonna get it. It's called able, capable, and stable. See, first is, are you able to handle this money that comes across you? So when an underwriter looks at your credit report, they got to answer these 3 questions. Are you able? So what makes you able? The amount of money that you brought in, versus the amount of money that you got going on. So are you able? First off, how much money do you make? Okay, you make some money. But are you capable? See, Mr. Don, they might have brought a lot of money in, but they may not be capable. Because when I looked at their credit report showed a $3,000 mortgage payment. The credit report also showed a $700 car payment. They also showed that they have credit card bills they got an average payment for. So although they're able, they may not be capable. And that brings us to number 3. Are you stable? Stable means that when I looked at your credit report, I noticed that you stayed in 7 different places in the last 6 years. Anytime that you stay in 7 different places in the last 6 years, you're letting someone know that you're not stable. Hey, do me a favor. Y'all go to the chat right now and tell me, how long have you stayed in the residence that you live in now? Have you been there for 6 months? Have you been there for 6 years? Have you been there for 3 years? Have you been there for 20 years? Just go to the chat and type it in. Comment the amount of time that you lived in the residence. See, you guys can have limited credit history, which means that although that you got a good high credit score, watch it, I'm getting ready to go there, you don't have enough trade lines on your credit profile. Trade lines are any lender that has ever given you credit that reports to the credit reporting agency. So if you don't have any trade lines, your credit history is going to be very limited. What about if you had a recent negative? What's negative? Late payment, charge off, collection, repossession, foreclosure, bankruptcy. If you got any of these things in there recent, it's going to hold you back. See, a balanced debt to income ratio aligned with your income assures lenders despite your good. See, the thing about it is, let me share something. The more money that you got coming in versus your debt makes sense. So we got to always produce more money. Always got to produce more money. Now, but while having a good credit score is positive, you want to make sure that you have an in-depthness of credit history. Right now, I got to pause right quick. I got to give y'all some game. Here's the game. Here's the game. You got to know your Power 8 banks. Power 8 banks. These are the Power 8 banks. When I learned this, it changed my life forever. I learned this at an underwriters conference. So the information that I'm giving you guys, this ain't information that I'm thinking of. This is information that's coming directly from them.
So Flame, so when I submit my application and I've got this credit history, the underwriters are actually looking at the banks I do business with?
Exactly. Because there's a thing, and let's play the game fair. I think fairness is the way that we should play the game. We all know LeBron James. You can have your opinion about LeBron James. But the thing about it is, you can have your opinion about guys like Kawhi Leonard, or Paul George, or James Harden, Greek freak. See, the thing about it is that when LeBron James around, LeBron James goes to the Greek freak and says, "What's up, Greek?" They have a mutual respect for each other, even though that they're on opposite teams. Steph Curry comes around LeBron. They dap each other up because they have a mutual respect for each other, although they're on different teams. So these banks work the same way. They have a mutual respect for each other because they're at the top of the top. They recognize good talent. They all going to make sure that they come out on top of each other, but they recognize good talent. So the more of the story is that when we get into this is that as you guys are talking, I want you guys to understand that these banks, see Bank of America, when they see Wells Fargo, they talk shit about Wells Fargo, excuse my language, but they got a mutual respect for them. When Chase comes around, Chase talks junk about, you see what I'm saying? Y'all see where this is going? So let's understand these Power 8 banks. Who are the Power 8 banks? Let's get into them.
Well, listen, but before we get to the Power 8 banks, let me tell you that I've got perfect credit with Care Credit and Capital One. I got perfect credit history with those two.
And that's where, see, it's perfect credit when you're going to go get a $5,000 credit card.
Oh.
That's perfect. Shouldn't be better. Kudos. But when you want to go get this 150, they want to know who have you dealt with before. They want to know who you dealt with before. See, here's the thing. When I step into a room, I say, who is this guy, Flame? No, they say that. They say, who is this guy, Flame? And then somebody to the left of me says, he spoke at FICO. FICO? Oh. Whoa. 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 Changes the whole dynamics of a room.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So the more of the stories of what I'm telling you guys is that with these Power 8 banks, when you got them on your profile, it'll change the whole dynamic of a room. So when the underwriters are sitting there trying to see if you're gonna get approved or not, they're saying to themselves, they're saying, watch this, Mr. Don. They say, oh, he's dealt with Bank of America before. He's got a home loan with Wells Fargo. He's got a car loan with Chase. Whoa. Whoa.
Let's break it down for him, Flame. Let's give him the Power 8 banks.
Power 8 banks. Truist is a Power 8 bank. PNC is a Power 8 bank. Bank of America is a Power 8 bank. Citi with an I is a Power 8 bank. Capital One is a Power 8 bank. Wells Fargo is a Power 8 bank. US Bank is a Power 8 bank. I missed out on one bank. Can somebody help me out? I missed one bank. If you got that bank, put it in the chat for me one time. I missed the bank. I named 7, missing one.
All right, we're missing one, folks. Type it in for him. We need a little help this morning. What's that last bank?
What's that last bank? Can somebody put it in the chat? What's the last bank?
Yeah, we got that. No, that's the one last one he's said. What's the one he missed? What's the one he missed? Somebody said PNC. Oh, somebody said Chase. Which one is it, Frank?
This Chase bank. I said PNC. This Chase. Chase is the granddaddy of them all. Never mistake it. That's the big dog on the block.
All right, Flame, we got our Power 8 banks. What's the next step?
So now that you got your Power 8 banks, you got to make sure at least one of those is showing on your credit profile. So to the listeners that's in here, even if you're on replay, if you guys have a Power 8 bank, out of those 8 banks, do any one of you guys have one of those 8 banks on your credit profile? If so, put a number 1 in the chat. Put a number 1 to let me know that you got at least one of them on your credit profile. You got a loan, a credit card, you got a car loan, you got a house loan, you got something on your credit report that's representing one of those Power 8 banks. I'm looking right now. I'm trying to see if you got one of those. If you got one of those ones that's on there, let's put a number 1 in the chat. Yeah, Valerie says she got one. Jones says she got one. If you got one of those banks that's on their credit profile that I just talked about, those Power 8, make sure that you guys type the number 1 that's in there. See, this is how you get a more extensive credit history, by having powerful lenders on your credit profile. See, when we start to go up on these loans and we start to get something different, we got to make sure that we're paying these things homage in such a way. See, the experiment that almost failed. See, the old model is, what we're not doing is, we're never going to provide inaccurate or false information on your application. I'm sorry, that ain't what we're doing over here. All you got to do over here is tell the truth. Such as inflating your income or misrepresenting your financial situation. Because the worst thing for a bank to do is to find out about you after they found out about you. See, you told a bank you made $120,000. But the bank found out that you only made 70. Now, do you understand how this works? See, what we're able to do is give our accurate information so we can be fair across all levels. The whole thing is that we want to establish trust with these lenders. That's why we always follow what the bank backgrounds are. See, the experiment is you do lots of applications. See, when you start to provide false information, lets me know that you want to go to jail. See, when we do these things, it's going to put you in a situation where you get over $1 million in funding fast. But we got to make sure that your credit profile is right. See, secret number 3, the absence of documents and personal guarantees creates a limit on how much you can borrow. So we got to make sure, if you're doing business like you say you're doing business, you should be having documents. How is that money being funded to you? I'm asking you. That's different. If they ask for projected income, you give them projected income. Exactly. So you're 100% right when they ask for it. My whole thing is what they're asking for. So they ask you what is, and they don't actually project it. They say, well, how much money did you make? Then that's totally different than what your projected is.
Most of these applications ask for the projected. Flame, talk to us about how important that is.
Is knowing your business. So I remember Ruthie earlier, she had threw up some slides when I was asking about what a social media manager makes. So whatever business that you're in, you want to find out within the area, what's the average making of that business. So you don't want to be too far over the bum, You want to be somewhere in the neighborhood of. So it makes sense to a lender. Right? That's something that we got to make sure that we cross patterns on. That's why I say now that you got to make sure that you have these documents that's in order. Because the very first thing is the MROL. The first thing you got to do is have some money. Huh? Where do you get money from? You follow the MROL, you're going to make a lot of money. The first thing is you got to have some money. Now, Flame, I'm trying to make some money, but I ain't got no money. I didn't say that you had to have any. I just said you got to make some money, meaning that where's your money coming in from? Do you get paid daily, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly? You got to have a consistent flow of money coming in. Then number two, then that's when you got to repair your personal credit. All those negative things that we talked about before, you got to repair them, because then you got to optimize. You're going to optimize, you can use those Power 8 banks, and then you're going to leverage it. So those are the things that I want you guys to get out of this. You get higher interest rates, shorter loan terms when you don't go through the MROL. You got limited negotiation powers. You got a lower credit limit. We try to get high limits. So in order to get high limits, you got to show high limits.
All right. So we've got that. We got that down. So listen, folks, I hope you are writing this stuff down. I hope you're writing it down. Flame is trying to give you time to get it in there. So listen, Flame, we're going to take a little bit of break so that you can go ahead and drink you some water. And so what we're going to do is we're going to play a video. So you mentioned that you had a picture with E.T., the hip hop preacher. Okay, folks, at the end of this, Flame is going to tell you how to get the money. All right. He's giving you time to make notes. So we're going to play a video right now of E.T., the hip hop preacher, who actually knew how to get credit, but now he didn't know how to pay it back efficiently until he met the P.I.L.L method. So let's hear from E.T., the hip hop preacher.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard it. E.T., the hip hop preacher, the number one motivational speaker in the entire world. I need you to Google it. E.T., the hip hop preacher, Dr. Eric Thomas, the number one motivational speaker in the entire world, used the P.I.L.L methodology to pay off his mortgage more efficiently. It wasn't about fast. It was about being efficient. What does that mean? He saved a ton of interest doing it the right way. Flame already talked about knowing what your interest cost is. And then what we're doing here is the only company in the world that teaches you what interest cost really means and how to lower your interest cost. not your interest rate. That means how much interest are you consuming? How much interest are you paying on these loans? What is the bank charging you? And is there something you can do about it? I can tell you right now, everything that you already know how to manage interest costs, forget about it, because it makes the bank more money. And I will show you that everything you already know makes the bank more money. So you want to know the P.I.L.L method way of understanding financial literacy from a consumer's point of view, so you can pay the absolute least amount of interest that's mathematically possible for you and your family and or your business. So what you want to do, folks, is go to ice10k.com, ice10k.com, all right, and get a savings and earnings report, all right? And you see that we've got ET here. We got ET on the screen, and scroll down underneath this picture and click right here, get a savings and earnings report. What you're going to learn today, folks, is not just how to get the credit, but how to save money exponentially, how to pay the bank back pennies on the dollar for using their money. So Flame is about halfway into what he needed to tell you, maybe even 3/4 done. So make sure you're asking your questions. But by the end, we're going to be able to tell you how to get a hold of Flame and how to get your free savings and earnings report. What does that mean? You'll be able to know the month, day, and year you can be debt-free on your loans, and you will know exactly how much interest you can save on these loans. And we usually cut their interest cost by about 75% with your current budget. Yes, you don't need more money to get out of debt, ladies and gentlemen. You just need to pay less interest. So Flame, all right, I put you on mute there for a second. All right, are you ready to jump back in here to talk to us about how to secure that money, how to go into a bank and not get denied? So go ahead, come off mute and finish this up for us, brother. You're on mute right now. There you
Got
go.
it. All right, so cool. So getting high interest rates and loans, you guys can understand this is secret number 3. Asking for exactly how much money that you actually need. Cash flow is the problem. All of these things make sense, right? So is it okay for people to dip into their savings or leverage credit? So there's 2 rules of credit. Rule number 1 is, right, you got to know how much that money costs you. Rule number 2 in credit is that we only use borrowed money to make us more money. Say that again. This has always been controversial. We only use borrowed money to make us more money. That's it. I say that again. We only use borrowed money to make us more money. Say it again. You only use borrowed money to make you more money. Right? Those are the things that I want you guys to do. Man, in the past hour, man, you guys have learned so much about this. Let me make sure let's take this off of here now. I'm going to go over here to this one. We'll come back to it in a second. Video share screen. Share screen. So I'm gonna see if can you guys see my screen right now? I want to make sure because I can't see if they can see. No, it's not there. It's there, but it's not there. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, so I want to see if you guys can see my screen. You guys know about we talked about making sure. Now, listen, I'm gonna take you guys right into the bank right now. So here it is. I want to make sure that you don't have any late pays, no charge-offs, no collections, no repossessions, no foreclosures, no bankruptcies, and you make sure that you got good personal information. You remember we talked about that. That's when we started to talk about able, capable. Can you guys see my screen or no? No.
Flame, we're trying to get things back up and running. All right. I can see your screen. So let's see if we can, we're going to try to.
Okay, you guys just removed it from the screen. So Flame, you need to reshare and then unshare your other screen.
Okay.
I had it up, but you unshared it. There you go. I got it.
Is it up now?
Yeah,
Yep.
It's fine. It's up there.
We can see it. Can you see it?
I can't see nothing. So as long as you guys can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Can you see me changing screens now or no?
So when you're using Canva, you just go ahead and when you're in present mode, just go ahead and present. We can see it on screen.
Okay.
Yeah, you got the School of Credit up right now.
No, that's not it then. Shouldn't have that up.
Yeah, it says you got your book up right now. Learn and master the 8 levels of business credit system. That's what we're seeing.
No.
I'm sorry about that, folks. We had a power outage here, and we our system. We're trying to reboot everything.
All right. So can you see my screen now? Does it change screens?
Yes, now it's changed the screen.
It says, "Who is Flame Newton?"
Okay, got it. All right, so boom. So now where we at right now is you got to understand, I'm about to take y'all directly to the money. Y'all got to pay very close attention. This is what gets you to 150. We getting ready to go through it in detail, in direct mode, so you guys can come out with a minimum of $150,000. Okay, I'm gonna take you directly to it. This is the exact program that I use to walk in any bank in America to pull out $150,000. First thing is, I don't have any late pays, charge-offs, collections, repossessions, foreclosures, bankruptcies. If you got them, we got to get rid of them. Let's start talking about it. We're gonna talk real. Y'all, everybody say, well, I just want you to talk real to me. We're gonna talk real then. Late payments, charge-offs, collections, repossessions, foreclosures, bankruptcies, and personal information. We can't have none of those things on our credit report because we're going to go get some big boy money. We got to make sure that we got Power 8 banks. You got to understand our banking tiers, credit union versus bank, and revolving credit, 6 types. Now, what is the 6 types of revolving credit? Let's stay right here for a second. There are 6 types of revolving credit. There are 6 types of revolving credit. There are 6 types of revolving credit. How many types are there? There are 6 types of revolving credit. 6 types of revolving credit. How many types are there? There are 6 types of revolving credit. The first type is called a credit card. The second type is called a store card. The third type is called a service merchant card or a co-branded card. The fourth type is called a charge card. The fifth card is called a medical card. And the sixth type is called a line of credit. It comes in 3 categories: personal line of credit, a home equity line of credit, or business line of credit. Those are 3 different types of lines of credit. So let's go over these again. What are the 6 different types of revolving credit? A store card, a service merchant card, a credit card, a charge card, a medical card, and you got 3 different types of lines of credit, right? That's a service merchant card. 3 different types of line of credit. That's a business line of credit. That's a personal line of credit. And there's also called a home equity line of credit. Those are 3 different types of lines of credit. So you got to understand those, right? You understand your installment credit, right? What is installment credit? Set in place and won't move over a period of time. Some of those installment credits will be things like a home mortgage, things like a car loan, things like a furniture loan. Anytime somebody gives you a certain amount and gives you a start date and the end date, that is what we call an installment loan. So you guys understand that particular part of it as a whole, right? Understanding the difference between credit unions versus banks. The credit unions are locally that your members are invested into that credit union, with an actual bank, right? You got to understand that there's different types of bank. There's what you call a private bank. There's what you call a public bank, and then there's what you call a security bank. So you got to understand these different types of banks that we get into, right? Remember my 2 rules of credit. What is it? How much does the debt cost me, and how is this going to make me more money? You guys got to know that, right? All right. So here it is. I'm about to take you exactly how this stuff works. You got to understand that when you get into this business credit, you want to do business to business, business to customer, business to government, business to international. Does anybody here want to make $1 million? Have anybody ever had $1 million? If you want to make $1 million, I'm going to take you directly how to make that $1 million right now, right? You got to make sure that you're in all 4 of these categories. If you're in all 4 of these categories, you, my friend, will make $1 million. I didn't think about it. I didn't hesitate with it. Remember, I don't do disclaimers. I know that you will make $1 million if you can actually conquer these 4 ways of making money. Number 1, you got to do business to business. Your business has got to do business with another business. Number 2, your business has got to do business with another customer. So you got to actually have regular customers that are coming to you to buy your products. Number 3, do you do business with the government? Do you know that the government is the biggest spender across the country? You got to you got to be selling something to the government. What are you selling to the government? Number 4, you got to do business to international. Do you do business in China? Do you do business in Australia? Do you do business in Thailand? Do you do business in Russia? Where do you do business at? You got to make sure that you're doing business across this globe, right? Next thing is, right, you got to have your 4 best friends. Your 4 best friends, you got to make sure that you have you got to have a who are your 4 best friends again? You got to make sure that you got an attorney, you got a mentor, you got a CPA, you got a coach, you got an attorney, you got a mentor, you got a CPA, you got a coach, you got an attorney, you got a mentor, you got a CPA, and you got a coach, you got an attorney, a mentor, a CPA, and a coach. After that you do that, you got to make sure that you're naming your business. You're going to go through, do a SWOT analysis, right? That is the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats of your business. You got to make sure that you do that. You got to make sure that you got a business plan for your business. All this stuff is just regular business that you're doing day to day, right? You got to make sure that what business entity are you in? Are you an LLC? Are you a corporation? Are you a nonprofit? What type of corporation are you in? You got to make sure that your business is making sure that you're directly under this part right here, right? Then after you come from off of that, you got to make sure that you got your EIN number, you got your business license, you're bonded and insured, your holding company. I told you your holding company. Let me give it back over to your holding company. Your holding company. So ladies and gentlemen, if for all my ladies that is listening right now, we got a lot of ladies that are listening right now. So all my ladies that are listening right now, what I want you to do is take a trash bag. Do you have a trash bag? Go get a trash bag. And what I want you to do is I want you to take a trash bag, and I want you to take everything out of your person. I want you to put it in that trash bag. Each and everything that you put in that trash bag is considered your LLC or your corporation. So every business that you got will go inside of that trash bag. What is the trash bag? The trash bag is holding these things. So when it's holding these things, this is called your holding company. You got to make sure that you have a holding company. A holding company holds all your LLCs. It protects you. Once you got your LLCs that's in there, then you're going to take your holding company and you're going to put your holding company inside of a trust. So your holding company goes inside of your trust. Your LLCs goes inside of your holding company. Your holding company goes inside of the trust. Your LLCs go inside of your holding company. Your holding company goes inside of the trust. This is what protects you when you get into it, right? You got to make sure that you got this type of stuff that's in there. So all these things that when it comes to your business, you want to make sure you go to the USPTO, the United States Patent and Trademark Office. You want to make sure that you got that from that. You want to make sure that if you're doing anything, that when it comes to your FICO scoring, you got to understand your FICO scoring. That's the SPSS score, right? You want to make sure that you understand your FICO SPSS score. You want to make sure that you got your DUNS number. You get your DUNS number for free. You get your DUNS number for free. A lot of this stuff you get for free. Now, where do you get your DUNS number from? You go to DNB.com. That is David New Orleans Bobby. So DNB, like the N like in new, the B like in Bobby, the D like in Donald. So Donald, DNB.com. That's what you want to do. You want to make sure that you go there. You want to make sure that you sign up. You go get your DUNS number. And when you get your DUNS number from these places that give the 4 different types of credit, you guys are going to be able to get this type of credit from that particular issue. That means your credit score goes up from that entity. So now once you're able to get all of this stuff together, you understand your years in business, about how it makes sense. You understand about about how you're able to get a paydex score from using your DUNS number by giving creditors these type of things. You're going to understand about how you build your paydex score. You understand about how you get your Equifax score, your experience score, all of these things. Do you understand about the banking system, the four initial? Stop, Flame. Stop. Because I'm doing this because I know it so much. Pause. Stop. I could do this all day. Stop. My question to you guys right now is, did all of this stuff seems like a lot, don't it? But if you actually operate a business in real time, this stuff is actually nothing. I'm going to say that again. If you operate a business in real time, this stuff is really nothing. So the question is, do you have four best friends? See, I understand Tamika. Me and Tamika good friends too, and I know that's your girl. But I want you to also know that your attorney and your mentor are your best friends.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you want to get this information down. We're coming up on, we're an hour and 26 minutes into a 2-hour show. I'm going to be bringing up the back end. So Flame, what else do we need to know before I bring up the back end?
Understanding about when you open up your business bank account. Like, we're going to go get $150,000. They got to put the money somewhere. Where are they putting this money at? You need to have a business bank account. When you open up that business bank account, what's important is that you have an initial deposit. See, all of these things that actually go into your actual business. That's why I'm very clear about saying, when you guys are going to go get a business, number one, I'm about to take you through it right now. Watch this, Mr. Don. Number one, you got to know how much money that you're going to ask for. Number two, you got to show where that money is going to be allocated to. Number three, the money that you're getting that you got to protect. The money that you're getting, you have to protect. That's why you have those four best friends. Number four, once you're able to get this money from them, then what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to run this play again and again. So when I'm saying you got to have the money for it, when you're telling me that you're going to go get some money, my only question to you guys is, when you're receiving money from doing business, where is that money going? Is that money going inside of a bank account? If so, that's called a bank statement. If it goes inside of a bank account and got a bank statement, guess what you also got? You also got tax records of that. See how easy this is once you operate business for real? It's not that hard. All you got to do is, if you have a business for real, we could do the rest of it. The problem is if you don't have a business for real. So I want to make sure that this stuff, that you guys can get this. When we get into this stuff right here, you got to have good personal credit. You got to make sure you don't have any negative items that's on there. And then once you got all that stuff together, then we walk into a bank and we go get some money. Listen, we ain't got to make none of this stuff loan drawn out what it is. I'm just giving you all this information. I got the book right there. We'll talk about that later on. That's something that you guys can have. That's a stepping stone. Oh, Mr. Don, I give it to you for sure. We good. They understand now. They like, wow, all I got to do is operate a business for real. and it would actually take me to the money. All I have to do is tell them exactly what I need. So if you need $200,000, Mr. Don, all I got to do is say I need $200,000 and show where the money will be going towards. We showed them today, Mr. Don, about where 70,000 can go to.
Exactly. Talk to us about that initial deposit. How much should it be, Flame?
The initial deposit should always be about $10,000.
There you go. All right.
Say, why Flame? Why $10,000? Because the bank operates on the 10-to-1 return from the fractional reserve banking. So every dollar that you give them, they make about 10. So if you produce 10,000 for them, you actually created 100,000 for them.
Okay. So Flame, I'm opening up a new business, and when I went to the bank to open up my business, they asked me for some specific documents. Is there a list of documents that people need when they walk into the bank that will show that they know what they're talking about and they're ready to show that they're doing business? Is there a list of stuff that they need to when they go into that bank?
The first is if they operate a business, here are the things that you're going to need. You're going to need your ID. Your ID, your personal ID, you're going to need that first. Once you got your ID, then you're going to make sure that you got your corporation paperwork that should be located at the Secretary of State. Thirdly, you want to make sure you got your EIN. As of lately, this is something that I've seen as of lately in 2024. A lot of these banks before used to give them your EIN. Now they're asking for it, the copy of it from when you came. So you want to make sure that you have your EIN handy. After you have that, every place that you've consumed money, you want to make sure that you document that. So if you got money from Cash App, if somebody paid you money on Cash App, you better have a ledger. Wherever place that you've actually consumed money at, that is where you want to go to. So with that being said, those paperwork, so if you taking their money through a credit card, right? Where is that money going through? Did it go through a bank account? If so, have a copy of the bank statements, last 3 months for your business and your personal. Last three years for your business. You want to make sure that you got this stuff covered.
All right, folks. All right. Flame, what is that it? Is that it for today? I mean, listen, are you putting a bow on it? Are you tying it all up?
Man, listen, man, they can see, man, I could go for days and hours and weeks and years. You guys are getting stuff from me from what I've been doing over. This is stuff that I do every single day. So when you see all these data points, when I'm going back through and you seeing all of these things that's on here, this is only about how bank is worked, right? When we talked about the underwriters, about how they look, about the 7 C's, all this stuff is just, if you just operate in business day to day, I'm here for you. I'm here for you, for one. And number two, that if you guys need to get something started, let me know. Whether you want to say, hey, Flame, I want to get started with my business, I want to get started with my personal, either one of the two, just let me know. I'm right here for you.
Let's put it in the private chat, Flame. Let's put it in the private chat, how they get a hold of you. I know one place is that your email is flame@flamenewton.com. I know that. Flame@flamenewton.com. What else we got? What else we going to put in there?
Well, I also want to put meetflame.com. So if you get over to meetflame.com, you can always capture me, especially when you can see the rest of my emails and stuff like that. So I try to make life easy for you. Meetflame.com. Everything's there. So you get to meetflame.com. You'll be able to go over there. As you guys noticed that I got books galore. I got all type of books and everything's at meetflame.com. Yes, sir. All
right. So we're putting it in. We're putting it in there right now. So Flame, I need you to help me go through this because so let's say we've gone through. We've done everything that we're supposed to do. And anything that I missed, I can contact you so that you can help me. But let's say we got that $150,000. I'm going to put on the screen what that looks like and what we can do to pay it back and not pay the bank all of that interest. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to put this on the screen right now. And then anytime you need to break in, because folks, we have about 25 minutes left of your time. And Flame, we're going to listen. We're going to tag team on this loan. All right, Flame?
Yes, sir.
All right. So listen, folks, here we go. Here it is, $150,000. We got it at 7%. And here's the one thing you want to know. Okay. When you're getting a loan, get it for the longest term available. The longest term available, not the shortest term. Because see, listen, people are going to tell you to save interest, you need to get the shortest term. No. You need to get the longest term available. That gives you more options, that gives you more control over the loan. And why is that? Because your principal payments are going to be smaller. And when you control the principal payment, not the entire payment, not the interest rate, when you control the principal payment, you control the loan. And the interest payments you can skip don't matter. We're going to show you how to use this small principal payment to your advantage. We're going to show you how to skip interest payments you never have to pay. And we're going to show you how to shrink that amortization schedule so you don't have to pay that. So listen, if you want to know more about this, go ahead and put some number 9s in the chat. Put some number 9s in the chat. So we're going to go over how to pay this $150,000 back at 7% for 300 months. That's 25 years. And the payment is $1,060.17 a month. All right. So let me tell you what the bank wants. Out of $150,000, this is how much interest they want. They want more interest than you're borrowing in principal. The principal is the amount of money that you borrow, and that ends in P.I.L.L, that kind of principal. The principal you borrow, the money that you borrowed is $150,000, but the bank wants you to pay $168,000. So here's what I need you to ask you. Is it required that you pay the bank $168,000 in interest on this loan? Is it required, or is it a suggestion? Talk to me. Is it required? Yes or no? Is it required that you pay the bank $168,051 in interest on this loan? I just need to see if there's any answers out there. Okay. I just need to see, because listen, folks, don't waste time. Let's talk to one another, because I'm going to tell you, this is a suggestion. What? You mean that contract that says I'm going to pay back $168,000 over 30 years? Yes, that's if you keep the loan 30 years. Are you required to keep the loan 25 years? Are you required to keep it 30 years? Are you required to keep it 20 years? You're not required to keep the loan for that long. They said, if you keep our money for this period and you pay us exactly what we're asking for on time, you will pay us $168,000. But see, you don't have to pay according to their time frame. You don't. You absolutely do not. Do you know you can create your own time frame? Oh, yes. You can create your own timing to pay the bank back their money. So that 7% for 300 months really means, watch this, total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 112%. Lord have mercy, 112%. Brenda Jackson said no. Okay, M. Bolin said no. You don't have to do it their way. Let me show you something here. If you have money in the bank, all right, and you're doing business, you're getting money coming in, you're doing business, and you have this loan. All right. And so one of the things you want to do is, how can I leverage the money that I have to give me to give me a better outcome on these loans. Okay, so you're doing business. Did you know that if you make this payment here, your very first payment on line number 1, which is $1,060.17, only $185 of those dollars goes to principal, $185.17 goes to principal, $875 goes to interest. That's your interest cost. That's your interest consumption. It costs $875 to pay the bank $185 to pay back on your loan. Crazy money. Okay? Crazy money. But I need you to take a look at line 2 on this schedule where it says you're going to pay next month, the second month, $186.25 to principal and $873.92 to interest. Look at that. Look at that. Just a few dollars difference, but it adds up to the same payment. So here's my question. If you make this payment in January of the year, your very first payment in January of the year, this is February's principal payment, $186.25. Do you have to wait till February to give the bank that $186.25? Or could you give it to them early? Can you create your own time frame to give the bank back money? When you create your own time frame to give them back money, do you realize you make it impossible for them to charge you interest, and you shrink the schedule that they gave you tremendously? Let me show you a couple of different ways you can shrink it. By prepaying this $186.25, you begin to understand what you get when you prepay. We don't know what we get when we prepay. In fact, the bank has been so successful when we give the bank more than the minimum payment, we have been conditioned to give them that money and not know what we're getting for it, and we don't even know to ask. Besides, even if you call your bank and ask them, they don't have the wherewithal to tell you. Oh, yes, the people that own the bank know, but you can't call them. You can't call the people that own the bank. You can only call the people that work at the bank. And the people that own the bank don't teach the people that work in the bank how this amortization schedule actually works. Okay? And if some of you have even tried to find out, put it in the chat. Tell them I'm telling the truth. If I'm telling the truth here, type truth in the chat. Type truth in there. Okay. So you prepay this in your own timing, and you don't have to pay this $873.92 in interest. This immediately goes to principal, and you're paid down to line 2 on this amortization schedule. And what happens when you do that? You just got rid of line 2 for $186.25. Payment number 1 is now touching payment number 3. Payment number 2 has been eliminated for $186.25, and that's $873.92 worth of interest you don't have to pay. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. You make a payment. You're making that payment, that first payment in January, and you just learned some stuff about how an amortization schedule actually works. And now you say, oh, I've got a little extra money in the bank over here. How can I invest that money? So we can give the bank that $186.25 from line 2, the $187.34 from line 3, and the $188.43 from line 4, all in the same month if you have it. If you have done that, if you do that, guess what? You just eliminated line 2, line 3, and line 4, and the interest payments on those lines. Okay, over 2,400 worth of interest, $2,500 worth of interest eliminated that you never have to pay. And look what you've just done. Payment number 1 is now touching payment number 5 for a lot less money. This is how this thing works. This is why the banks don't want you to know this. I need you to see this. I need you to look at cumulative principal and cumulative interest on this loan. Okay, Flame, listen, Flame, we're talking about getting the bag. We're talking about getting the money. And why is it important, Flame? Why is it important that I can use a lot less money to pay this loan back and not cost me as much interest? Why is it important to pay back a loan if I'm in business? Why is it important to pay it back in a shorter period of time for a lesser cost? Why is that important?
Because now it saves you more money. The whole thing is, how much does this loan cost you? So if you were extending this loan out from years to come, what happens is that loan is costing you more and more money. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are cost effectiveness on the money that we are borrowing. And then when you're able to show that you're borrowing this money, then you get more and more banks that want to. I told you how all these banks are connected, yes. Right? These banks, at this point, they will lend you more and more money. See, that's the whole thing about it is, it's not, I want you guys to write this down right now. I'm about to give you a resource for two right now. I want you to write this down right now. It's not about how much money you have. It's all about how much money you have access to.
Come on now. So listen, if I can get this money, all right, and I've used this money to level up my business, I've used it to make more money. So the money has been used. Okay. And it's done for my business what I wanted it to do. Now, instead of 25 years and paying the bank back $168,000 in interest, what if I could pay them back in 5 to 7 years? All right. And only pay them about $45,000 to $50,000 in interest. Okay, go ahead, man. Talk to us.
Because right now listen, I had a talk one day.
Yes.
Right? This was a private conversation that I had with a guy named Damon John. Oh,
you know that guy.
Yeah, Damon John. I had a conversation with him. And one of the things that he stated to me was, he said, you think that the rich are trying to make more money. True indeed, they always are. But he said it get to a point where they make more money when they start saving more money. So anytime that you see somebody that can go from $168,000 down to $50,000, actually what that means for you is that you just made $118,000.
Wait a minute. You mean that saying that a penny saved is a penny earned is actually true?
So true. It's so true, in fact, that I think that you guys, since y'all getting all these tattoos, I think you should get that tattoo next.
Okay. All right. So $118,000 saved is the same as $118,000 earned. Why is that, ladies and gentlemen? Why is that? Because if I spend $168,000 with the bank, I can't also invest $168,000. That $168,000 is gone. I can't invest it because I paid it.
Yep.
If I can get the same asset for $50,000 in interest, that means I now have saved my $118,000 that I can now invest in my company to make more money. And I can take advantage of compound interest on the money saved earlier. Listen, folks, if you're paying all that interest to the bank, you're leaving millions of dollars on the table because interest or money you could have made that you didn't make should be considered a loss. One more time, money that you could have made that you didn't make should be considered a loss. One of my clients called me and says, Don, I need to talk to you today after your show. Okay. She says, listen, when people get these loans, ladies and gentlemen, when they get these loans and they find out that they can strategically pay these loans off cheaper and faster, they start thinking differently. You know what she said to me, Flame? You know what she said to me?
Talk to me.
She said, Don, I have paid this loan down so fast. I've got so much equity. I saved so much money in doing it. We need to refinance this loan, take the cash out and use it again Do you know she's been on my program for less than 3 years? And normally it would take her 15 to 20 years to get to that point where she could get to the point where she could cash out refi. She's doing it in less than 3 years. What does that mean? What does that?
Listen,
Come on.
I mean, anytime that you're doing it in less than 3 years, that means she's actually making money off of her own property early on.
Oh, come on.
Because when you start doing it from that perspective, then that changes everything to what you're doing.
Listen, folks, let me show you something. In 1 year, okay, let's just say I got this money from the bank and I've done what I needed to do with it. But in 1 year, I've paid them back $2,294.73. Do you realize it cost me $10,000 their way to pay this loan down from payment number 1 to payment number 12? I started out with $150,000, and in 12 months, I've paid it down to $147,705.27. That's how far I paid it down. So if I do it their way, it cost me $10,427.31. That's $10,000 I can't invest. I cannot invest that $10,000 because I've given it to the bank. Well, what if I know, if I got a little extra cash on the side because my business is doing well, I'm making money, I got some cash in reserve. There's nothing that says I can't give this money, this $2,294.73 to the bank on line 1, Flame. I could give it to them on line 1, okay, and be paid down to line 12 in 1 month. I could be paid down to line 12 in 1 month, and I'm collapsing my amortization schedule, okay? I go from payment number one, I'm squeezing this thing down to payment number 13. If I give this money to the bank now in 1 month, okay, and month 1, my next payment on this loan is on line 13 of my amortization schedule, and I didn't pay them $10,000 to get here. I only paid them $875 to get here. Can I talk to you about return on your money now? Can I talk to you about ROI, ladies and gentlemen? Let's put the calculator on the screen. ROI. So if I can save that kind of money, I can save the $10,000. Let's just going to round it off. $10,000 in interest I saved. Okay, 10,000. Save that 10,000, but I prepaid the $2,294.73. Okay, and I saved a bunch of money. All right, I saved about $10,000 in interest. So if I divide it by 2294.73, all right, because I divided by that, it equals this, and then I multiply this by 100. There we go. That's a 435% return on my money. You know, somebody was talking to me about 20% cash on cash return, and that was beautiful to them. But you know, it doesn't hold a candle to 435% cash on cash return. 435% return on your money if you know how to invest it. So I get the same results. I get the same asset. I get the same house. I get the same equipment for my business. I get the same everything. The only thing that ain't the same is how long I keep the loan and how much interest I pay to service the loan. They are charging you way more interest than you need to pay because, and here it is, and here it is. We are not taught in school how to understand what I'm showing you now. You see, Flame said in the beginning that he didn't write his book by copying other books. He didn't write his book by copying other books. He discovered these things on his own. And folks, I'm not teaching you this from stuff I learned from a book. If you go to Amazon right now, out of 33 million titles, on Amazon, there's only one title that begins to teach you how to do this, and that's the P.I.L.L method, a better way to eliminate debt. Only one book. Go to ice10k.com, ice10k.com, and click on Get That Book and start teaching it to your children, because we didn't learn it when we were young. We didn't learn it when we were old. We didn't learn it while we were in college. We didn't learn it while we were in business school. This is not even taught at the Wharton School of Business. And Flame, as many conferences as you've gone to, and you said you showed us people that, that wrote the doggone algorithm for what? Look, you're on mute again.
For a credit score, the algorithm for the credit score.
Credit score. Okay, so you met some folks from FICO. Okay, right?
Yes.
All right. Oh, my camera's out of focus because I lost. There we go. I didn't realize my camera was out of focus. Okay, because I'm just talking. All right. So listen, and then FICO, you met the folks from there, and from Experian. Listen, you've met these folks. Has anybody in all of these conferences you've ever gone to ever gone over this amortization schedule and how it works?
Not one.
Not one. Not one. And Flame, and you've seen this several times. Do you see any flaw in what we're talking about here?
Not at all.
Is this something that should be taught in all of those conferences?
No, for sure.
Okay, and these folks are getting it from the P.I.L.L method for free. So if you're not signed up to get, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, you need to be. You need to share this information with everybody you know, because they're not getting it anywhere else. And I'm telling you, don't let your broke uncle tell you that all you have to do is, okay? Don't let your brother-in-law, who's a mortgage person for the last 30 years, tell you that all you have to do is, because I guarantee you, I teach this to mortgage brokers. I teach this to loan officers. I teach this to accountants and CPAs because they don't get it in their classes. Don't assume that because it rolls off my tongue that everybody who's in finance knows this, because Flame has been to an untold number of conferences where he knows the number one woman in finance, in credit, the number one woman in credit. I guarantee you she doesn't know this. No. They're not teaching it. No. If they're not teaching. So Don, how did you get it? Oh, because it's because of how my brain is wired. I have ASD, autism spectrum disorder. So when I look at an amortization schedule, this is what I see, and I'm breaking it down and giving it to you. I've just scratched the surface today, ladies and gentlemen. Just scratched the surface so that you can know that you can understand how to get the credit and then how to pay back the credit at a lot less interest. Let me show you how you can do that with AI, our artificially intelligent, cloud-based computing platform, and our second to none financial education, so that you can level up your information. You can level up your information on how to get the credit and how to save money when you're borrowing. And I'm not talking about a little bit of money. I'm talking about 75 to 80% off. And when you save that money and understand that you can now invest that found money and get the same level of service, acquire the same asset, acquire the same benefits from borrowed money, but pay the bank pennies on the dollar for the use of it. Lord have mercy. We're leaving dollars on the table. Flame, we got just 1 minute left. Tell them again how they can get a hold of you, and I'll tell them how they can get a hold of me, and we're out of here. That's my alarm. Going off. Say, Don, you're out of time.
Yeah. Man, go to meetflame.com, man. Meetflame.com. That's where you want to go to right now. Meetflame.com. That's where you're going to find the latest updates on me at. Go to flame@flamenewton.com. So if you guys are listening right now, even if you're on a replays, even if you listen to this 2-3 months after you aired, it does not matter. Go to flame@flamenewton.com. Send me a message over there. Tell me, hey, I listened to you on Mr. Don's show. Tell me anything. Flame@flamenewton.com. Meetflame.com. That's where you want to go to. That's the information how to contact me, man. I'm so excited, Mr. Don. Thank you for having me over here today, man. I'm turned up at every high level for you guys to get this information and what Mr. Don shares with his community and how you guys are going to benefit off of it. Peace.
Listen, Flame, thank you so much for being on the show today. And folks, don't forget, go to ice10k.com, ice10k.com, and then click on Get a Savings and Earnings Report. Get a Savings and Earnings Report. Go down underneath ET's picture. There's 4 videos there. You might want to watch those too. But click on this, and the Savings and Earnings Report is free. So that if you have a business loan, if you have credit cards, if you have student loans, if you have a mortgage, we can pay it all off in an average of 7 to 9 years. And you can keep reusing that money over and over and over again, because you now know the cheat code. So it doesn't cost you a lot of money. So, and listen, folks, we're going to be back here on next Sunday. Don't miss next Sunday. Don't miss next Sunday, because next Sunday, we're going to be talking about marriage and money. Marriage and money. Marital money wars. Do you know how many people are arguing over money? I'm going to give you, if you're married, if you have a spender and a saver married, do you know what kind of arguments you get into? We're going to show you how a spender and a saver can live together in financial harmony. Do you know when people are risk averse, they don't like risk, but they're married to somebody who likes risk? I'm going to show you how somebody who is risk averse and somebody who loves to take a little bit of risk, how they can work together. I'm going to show you how the P.I.L.L method saves marriages next Sunday. Tell all of your friends and be here. So, and on Wednesday, what's Wednesday's show? Let's put that up. On Wednesday's show, we're going to be talking about, I can't even remember right now. Stop eliminating debt. What do you mean, Don? I thought you were talking about eliminating debt. Yeah, but people focus on eliminating debt when they should be focused on managing debt. That's a whole different story. And we're going to be talking about that on Wednesday's show at 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern. And on Friday's show, we're going to talk about the 0% effective interest rate mortgage. What? You're going to be talking about how to borrow money at 0%? You don't want to miss those shows next week. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Flame, thank you so much for being here. And we're going to play one more video and we're out. So, folks, thank you so much. We'll see you on Wednesday. How many want to know how to pay off all of your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years? You can do all of this without refinancing, without change to your budget, without sacrificing lifestyle.
Me and my husband do the P.I.L.L method, and last year we were able to pay down $33,000 on our mortgage without feeling like we were poor. We still did tons of entertaining things and enjoyed our family.
You don't have to eat beans and rice every day. You don't have to cut up your credit cards. You don't have to drive a 30-year-old car. You don't have to sell pizzas at night to pay off your mortgage. All you need to do is pay the bank less interest. That's what we're talking about today. Here is what P.I.L.L method stands for: prepayment of principal, isolation of principal amounts, leverage, and liquidity. You understand it? You have a way of getting out of debt more efficiently. The interest rate you're quoted is not the interest rate you pay. You think you're buying a $500,000 home. The true cost of that home is what? $758,000 Total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 51.777%. That's what's going on with this loan. The ability to read and defeat an amortization schedule is not taught at any level of financial education. I need you to understand the power of a penny. You will not hear what I'm talking about from Dave Ramsey. Do you know why? Because I own the copyright. I literally wrote the book.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.